You're listening to the Back Porch Talk podcast. Danny and Jason had many discussions and debates on the back porch while making pivotal investment moves with assets. That's right, with trading cards. They welcome you to the back porch and right into those discussions about current sports news with a fresh and unique twist. So come on and join us. Welcome to the Back Porch Talk podcast. I'm your co-host, Jason.
Your co-host, Danny.
Fans, we have a full show for you today. So get ready. Buckle up. Here we go. Little NFL, little Major League Baseball World Series, little basketball, little Formula One. We got it all for you. But first, Danny, right into NFL, where we have the Green Bay Packers beating the Jacksonville Jaguars barely. Took a last-second field goal, but nonetheless, a win is a win. We'll take it 30-27 over Jacksonville, and where Jordan Love actually strained his groin, went out in the third quarter, middle of the third quarter. Malik Willis comes in, does his thing. He throws 4 for 5 for 56 yards, a touchdown. Jordan Love went 14 for 22 for 196 yards. No touchdowns, but a pick. Josh Jacobs continues to impress. 25 carries on 127 yards, 2 touchdowns. One of his better games or best games as a Green Bay Packer. And man, the tight end Tucker Kraft continues to do his thing, man. 3 catches for 78 yards and a touchdown. Romeo Dobbs, 3 catches, 72 yards. So this is an all-around good game. Jacksonville, those scores 27 on us. So that's just something to watch out for. The defense, he gave things up a little bit for my taste, if you will, in the second quarter. But they made it a little closer than what I like anyway. Trevor Lawrence goes for 308 yards, 2 touchdowns, and interception. I would like to see the Packers really put these games away, man. I really do. And McKinney goes for a leading another interception for him. I want to say that's number 6. Packers goes ahead and do it, Danny. What say you about these Green Bay Packers?
Lucky you got a good kicker, man. It's 2 games in a row. I was pulling for Jacksonville, truth be told, because from an Atlanta perspective, I have to be that's seeding. You guys are, I think, what are you, 6-2, 5-2?
Mm-hmm.
So that's big as from a seeding perspective. So anytime teams ahead of us can get knocked off, we need it. We need all the help we can get. We'll get to the Falcons in a minute, but Jacksonville put up a good fight. They've actually kind of turned it around a little bit over the last couple games. Still not winning, but the offense is actually playing halfway decent. Trevor Lawrence did okay. They did lose the rookie Brian Thomas to a rib injury. Christian Kirk, broken collarbone. He's out for the year. So Jacksonville had some key injuries towards the end of that game, which I don't know if it made a difference, but there's something going forward for them. I'm not sure how they bounce back. They're already struggling, but losing 2 of their top weapons will hurt them for sure. And then on the Green Bay side, Jacobs, man, this is what you signed him for all that money for, right? And when Malik Willis came in, they didn't really miss a beat because Jacobs was running the ball so well. Key that Willis had that experience prior to this game is it may have been a different outcome. But now he's comfortable in the offense. He's run it a couple times with Jordan Love being out. But I think from the Green Bay side, long term, you got to watch Jordan Love, man. These injuries are starting to pile up a little bit. So if he gets hurt again or something and he's out for extended amount of time, that may impact him a little bit. But he wasn't playing. He wasn't having his best game yesterday either. And it was Jacksonville. But next week, Detroit's on the schedule. And that's a big game for both teams. So we'll see if he's back or not. It sounds like he may have a chance to play because it was a groin injury, but we'll see.
And staying in the division, Danny, Chicago Bears against the Washington Commanders, and we're, man, oh man, what a miracle at the end by the Washington Commanders. And they prevailed 18-15. I just think that it was some interesting coaching by the Chicago Bears, and where they allowed a 13-yard pass play to be completed prior to the Hail Mary. I'm happy that the Bears lost. Don't get me wrong. It's just, man, the way that it all went down. And let me just say, man, Jay Daniels just continues to ball out, man. 21 for 38, 326 yards, one touchdown. Against Caleb Williams, 10 for 24, 131 yards. There's something about this Chicago Bears offense that is just anemic, man. I just think it's the ghost of Chicago. I mean, it's something about the quarterback king play of any quarterback in Chicago.
Mm-hmm.
Justin Fields didn't work. I mean, there was several quarterbacks that just didn't work, drafted high, but they just didn't amount to anything in Chicago. So I wish the best for Caleb Williams, just not against the Green Bay Packers. But Jay Daniels is a story, man. I mean, he had busted ribs, goes in, continues to impress. You gotta watch out for the Washington Commanders at 6-2 in the division. Between them and the Eagles, I think that is the cream of the crop in that division. And just staying in that division, oh boy, the Dallas Cowboys lose again.
Mm-hmm.
Against the 49ers, man, 30-24. Danny, I watched a portion of this game, and let me just say, man, I looking at Dak Prescott, 25-38, 243 yards, two touchdowns, two interceptions. One of those interceptions, the first one he threw, I knew as soon as it came out of his arm, it was going to be an interception. He floated it. I was like, yeah, this is going to be a pick.
Yep.
Dallas Cowboys in trouble, man. I don't think they're going to make the playoffs. With the way that the Eagles and the Washington Commanders are playing right now, I just don't see the Dallas Cowboys winning the division. Again, we have to be mindful of what's happening in the NFC North. You have Detroit, you have Minnesota, you have Green Bay. That's three right there. I think it's very possible three of them can make it into the playoffs, which doesn't leave room for a whole lot more, at least two. So that's I think, going to leave Dallas out of the mix here. San Francisco, I think they're going to start to turn it on here. Brock Purdy, 18 for 26, 260, one touchdown. They're starting to turn on a little bit. McCaffrey's still out, hasn't played all season. I don't know when he's coming back, or if he's coming back, because he's dealing with the Achilles. So that's going to be interesting to see how that goes down, Danny. The other game of interest is that of the Ravens and the Browns, where famous Jameis comes in, throws for 334 yards, three touchdowns, beats Lamar Jackson, who went 23 for 38, 289, two touchdowns. Lamar has 46 rushing yards. Derrick Henry, 11 carries, 73 yards. That right there is a low amount, in my opinion. I think they just got away from the running game, if you will. But Danny, the story I think is Jameis Winston. He comes in and he gets this Cleveland Browns going, gets his offense going. Not only that, it just seems like any quarterback other than Deshaun Watson seemed to do good with these players. And Deshaun going to be out for a good year. Chances, I mean, he could come back for the start of next season, possibly. But if Jameis and these Browns win, what does that say to Deshaun Watson and his contract? I know it's fully guaranteed.
Yeah.
But do you bring Deshaun Watson back?
No.
I mean,
if Joe Flacco did it last year, Jason, Jameis Winston's doing it he had his game yesterday. When the fans are cheering when somebody gets hurt, which is foul, that really shows you, Yeah, Deshaun Watson ain't it. So they can't play this game again. They're just gonna have to eat the contract unless they can get some type of medical exemption. But that contract has to be it's like sunk cost.
Yeah, 'cause keep in mind now, the Browns signed him to a 5-year, $230 million contract. I want to say that was a couple of years ago.
Correct.
So he still has about what 3 years left on his contract. I believe they're going to start looking to see about other options, other possibilities. Man, there's a story here on CBS Sports that the Browns were to outright release Watson after 2024 per over the cap. They instantly lose $99.8 million or roughly 36% of the entire projected 2025 salary cap. They're stuck with that contract. Who's going to get Deshaun Watson, man? Who's
I
going to
don't
pick
think
that up?
Jason before the Achilles, he was struggling, and now coming from an Achilles injury and all the off the field stuff that comes with Deshaun Watson, as you know, with his lawsuits and everything. I don't know, man. It's tough.
Dang, I think that's going to be a sports contract, sports sports attorney, agent. Oh man, I see it being bought out or an
Hmm.
agreement of being bought out or something like that, man. But this is unbelievable. But that was the last game of note for me, Danny. What say you about this NFL weekend?
Just a couple comments, Jay, on the games you highlighted. One, on that Browns Ravens game, the Ravens actually had a chance to seal the game the play before Jameis threw the touchdown to win the game, and Kyle Hamilton dropped the interception. So the Ravens could actually won the game, but they didn't. So kudos to the Browns for coming to actually play because the Ravens were on fire coming into this game. As far as the 49ers Cowboys, and you look at Zeke Elliott and Dalvin Cook back there, and then you think about if Derrick Henry was there, who wanted to be there, biggest offseason blunder by far, I think, by the Cowboys not signing Derrick Henry when he actually wanted to play for you. So, and now they're suffering for it. They made it a game at the end. They actually had the ball to drive to score, and they went 4 and out. So they ended up losing because didn't have any timeouts. From the 49ers perspective, they go on by, but they showed a graphic last night on the game on NBC that the 49ers has been 3-4, like 3 of the last 4 years or something like that. So this is not uncharted territory for them. They get the bye next week, and it's rumored that McCaffrey may be back after the bye. So that will definitely help. My Falcons win in Falcons fashion yesterday against the Buccaneers 31-26, where we were up 31-17, Jason. We proceed to fumble the ball on our own 1 yard line. Algier fumbles, and it ends up being a safety. Tampa Bay comes down, and they ended up scoring. We have an opportunity with the field goal. We get the fourth down. We convert a fourth down, get stopped. Koo comes in, shanks a field goal wide right. Tampa Bay has an opportunity with a Hail Mary at the end. Thank goodness it didn't end like the Commanders-Bears game for us. And the dude caught it, but he was out of bounds. As a Falcons fan, until you see all zeros, as I always say, that game is not won, even though you're up 14 in the fourth. So big win for them. And they actually face the Cowboys next week. And that's not going to be an easy game for us because our defense has been up and down. The defense did have some big plays, and they were missing some people yesterday. But still, man, it's you never know with the Cowboys what you're going to get. And with
So
CeeDee
sure.
Lamb, from our standpoint, and you saw how we played against Seattle last week. Seattle went out and got destroyed by Buffalo, and that's the way that's the way NFL goes. So every game is key, and with a lot of these, it's very top heavy in the NFC. So that's where you got to keep winning, and they're doing well though by winning these division games. So that's good. But big game next week against Dallas.
And now, Danny, on to the World Series, and where Game three is tonight. LA Dodgers are up 2 games to none. I have to say, game one, I think, was one of the best World Series games I've ever watched. It definitely ranks up there. I remember, my guy, Kirby Puckett,
Hmm.
doing his thing in the World Series, which was something special. But this one on Friday night where Freddie Freeman wins the game off of a walk-off grand slam in the 10th inning.
And you knew it was gone as soon as he hit it.
Oh,
You knew it was gone.
man, people those who attended the game would never ever forget that. They won't forget that, Danny. And game two goes on to game two, another great game. The struggles of Judge continues.
Hmm.
Stanton continues to impress, but it's going to take more than Stanton. Danny.
Yes.
It's going to take more. I mean, they are really, really wanting Judge to show up, man.
Hmm.
And Soto is doing his thing as well.
Yep. I was gonna say the same.
So it's time for Judge to, get on the right. What better way to get right than at home?
Hmm.
And so game three is tonight. Shohei got injured, shoulder injury, game two, but he's going to play. He's in the lineup. I knew the Yankees were in trouble when Ice Cube came out in the very beginning, game two, and walked the entire field from the bullpen
Hmm.
to the front plate to the home plate. You kidding me? It was kind of dope. Now, don't get me wrong.
Yep.
But I knew, Yankees in trouble. So I'm curious pregame what the Yankees gonna do. All the rappers,
Yep.
everybody from New York. You kidding me? They gonna come out with Jay-Z? I'm really curious. So
Hmm.
I think it was a good touch by Major League Baseball. This is entertainment by them. I believe Magic Johnson is showing him head bopping and everything. So game three tonight, game four tomorrow. Yankees gonna have to do something, otherwise there ain't gonna be no game five.
So now you have to travel. So they travel from Los Angeles to New York. It's a quick turnaround. Baseball ain't playing either, man. It's like boom, 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 boom. Like these games are quick. They
Mm-hmm.
had the one travel day and then you're back to it. I was just questioning Jason on Friday night why they brought Cortez in.
Yeah.
And boom, I know he's big on analytics, but to bring a lefty to face Freeman, who's a lefty, who hits lefties well, I just didn't understand that move at all. So they get paid more than I do. I'm, sitting on the couch enjoying the game, but it was just, I was like, why are they bringing him in?
Not only that, Danny. Why did they walk Mookie?
Yeah.
To me, I mean, to get to Freddie Freeman at that.
Yeah. Yep.
As soon as they walked, I was like, man, why are they walking Mookie?
Yeah. It was just a lot of questionable decisions
Yeah.
in game one for sure. I'm curious how Shohei is tonight because initially they thought he popped his shoulder out of
Hmm.
dislocated, sliding into the base, but see how he is. But yeah, the biggest piece here is Judge. Can
Hmm.
some home cooking get him right? He's been
Hmm.
struggling all playoffs, but if he can't get going tonight, man, they're in trouble.
And then he run into the beginning of the NBA season where we have the Milwaukee Bucks taking the L last night against the lowly Brooklyn Nets. And I'll just say this, Bucks in trouble. I looked at, I know it's only the third game of the season, and they play the Celtics tonight on the back-to-back, but
Hmm.
I looked at the post-game interviews of Brooke, even Coach Doc Rivers, and then also of Dame and Giannis. And Giannis said it best. They don't have any identity right now. And by them not having identity, that to me is telling. Giannis also talked about playing faster. I don't know, Danny. I just think you have a healthy Dame who's point guard. You have Doc Rivers who was a guard.
Yep.
How come I don't know, understand how come they can't align there? I mean, I agree with Giannis. You got to play faster. I don't know if Giannis is hinting at the limitations of the lineup.
Hey,
I don't know, man. This is just
hey,
baffling. I'm curious if it's just them trying to figure it out, piece it together. They've been together
that's
somewhat. You
the
see,
only.
this is where the whole Dame Giannis thing over the summer could have, helped. But of course, Giannis was busy.
Yep.
But I don't know. There's something missing here. I mean, you have, to me, Gary Trent Jr. has been playing some great wing defense. I have to give him kudos. Torian Prince has come in, stepped in. I just see, there's something off. Maybe that missing piece is Middleton, but can you play faster with Middleton in there with the busted ankles? He hasn't done 5-on-5. I mean, I'm hoping he run up and down the court getting ready. I mean,
Yep.
so I'm just curious as how they play tonight against the Celtics. Maybe they were just trying to remain ready, remain fresh
Hmm.
on this back to back with the Celtics. But man, something's off, and I hope that Doc plays the younger players. I don't think he is, but I hope he does to infuse some kind of energy in there. But man, this is only the third game of the season. We talking like this. What say you, Danny, about the Milwaukee Bucks?
Look at the box scores, Jay, or if you watch the games too. Kobe White on Friday night, 35 or something like that. Guard play
Hmm.
last night, Cam Thomas and Schroeder, 32 and 29. They're getting destroyed on the defensive end by the guards.
By the guards.
You don't have Drew, right?
Well, Drew done got him another championship ring.
Yes.
He done
So,
lifted up. He done lifted up a Celtics banner.
mhm.
Do you know how? I mean, I don't think people comprehend just how significant that is in terms of a Hall of Fame resume. People who thought he was teetering on the line of being a Hall of Famer. Now I think he's going to be a Hall of Famer. Think about what Drew has done. Not only has he won not one but two championship rings, but he's won it with the Milwaukee Bucks, who hasn't won in 50 plus years. He's won it with the Celtics, the premier franchise in the league. Not only that, but when he won the championships, what happened immediately following? He won two gold medals. That story alone seals the deal. Not only that, but he's been recognized as the best teammate in the league multiple times. He's a Hall of Famer.
Yep. So that's my point, Jay. They're not guarding the guards. And tonight they'll get another dose because the Celtics shoot a ton of threes. They shoot a ton of
Mhm.
threes. So if they're on like they've been on, it's gonna be a long night for the Bucks. But the Bucks usually play them. They're gonna play them tight, and we'll see what they're made of. See if they bounce back and can actually do something tonight against the Celtics. But it's been the guards. They've been eating them up so far.
Eating them up, Danny. Not only that, but just as they shoot a lot of threes, Celtics shoot a lot of threes, the Bucks got to get out and defend it.
That's my point.
Yeah, I mean,
Playing
even
AD.
the corner threes. I'm even talking about Giannis. I mean, just the
Mhm.
rotations and everything is just off, man. So
This will be a game they'll win too. Based, this is how it usually goes with them. Well, they'll have a letdown and then come out and play, up to their actual talent level and
mhm.
caliber and play up to the competition. But we'll see, man. I hope they just don't go out and get blown out. Because
This is going to
then
be interesting. Okay.
I was gonna say because then there's some rumblings gonna happen. They're already
This
kind
is,
of simmering a little bit. This could kind of take it over the top.
yeah, this is going to be interesting. Even seeing Jason Tatum and Jalen Brown on the revenge tour.
and they don't even have Porzingis yet. So he's just sitting there because he had the surgery. He's
Hmm.
hurt indefinitely. So
Hmm.
they're playing without him. So how they play with him.
Hmm.
So you got to take
Hmm.
advantage of these games right now where they're not at full strength either.
And lastly, Danny, Formula One happened in Mexico City this past weekend. And let me just say, I texted you as I was watching this Grand Prix, and as soon as Max Verstappen forced Lando Norris off the track, eventually got penalized twice, 10-second penalty. I was like, we got to talk about this, man. The reason why I say that, Danny, is because if Mexico City Grand Prix didn't prove just how dirty Max is as a driver, how aggressive slash dirty he is, I don't know what is. I mean, you have Lando coming out on and saying, he's done it again. I know there's some Max Verstappen lovers out there. I'm not one of them.
Mm-hmm.
He's dirty. And this just reminds me of this over the past few years, this many times where Max has been very aggressive to the point of dirty or have had dirty, run-ins with people. Not only Lando, but it's been multiple drivers.
Yep.
Sir Lewis Hamilton, yeah, it started off with Sir Lewis Hamilton, but then it's been just repeatedly on different drivers. And so something got to be done, man. I'm just hoping that Max loses the championship. There are four races remaining: Brazil, Las Vegas, Qatar, and ultimately Abu Dhabi.
Yep.
And right now, Lando is second, 362 to 315. That's where Lando sits right now at 315. There's opportunity there. I think, though, Max is going to have to probably not finish a race or just not score a point in order for Lando to really catch up in any kind of way here. I don't know how many more times, it's got to be proven here, whether it's penalty or whether it's just conversation, whatever the case may be, man. But yeah, he's dirty. What say you, Danny, about Formula One? I didn't even mention who won the race. Let me go back here because this also is pivotal here, and kudos to Carlos Sainz for winning the race itself for Ferrari. And Ferrari, man, you think about Constructors' Cup too. McLaren and Ferrari are going at it.
Yes, they are.
And so when we talk about the constructors or the team award or team cup, we're talking about multi-millions of dollars being awarded to teams. And so it's going to go down to a wire for both the constructors cup and possibly the drivers, individual driver. But what say you, Danny, about this Mexico City Grand Prix?
This was a tough race, Jay. And Sir Lewis Hamilton actually took fourth. He overtook Russell towards the end there.
Hmm.
But I look at Verstappen and Norris, and Verstappen sees Norris as a threat.
Hmm.
Because Norris is driving, he took second again.
Hmm.
And he was 4 or 5 seconds away from, winning, but Sands had it pretty much in the bag
Hmm.
towards the end there. But it's one of those things because Norris, the way they're back, because last race, who was it between with the penalty? Between
Hmm.
Norris and Verstappen. So I think that's where some of this may be coming from. I don't know, but it's just a guess that there's something brewing there because it's a threat. Because Verstappen at the beginning of the season was dominating. Now McLaren's coming, and now Ferrari's starting to drive well because Leclerc took third. So they're coming in strong, like you mentioned. So it's an interesting dynamic. And the track in Mexico was it's an interesting track as all these are. They have a unique. It's just the tight wind, the turns and everything. So it's very interesting that way. So that may have been some of it too, some frustration too. But I think it's more. There's something deeper there with Norris and Verstappen at this point in time because I think Norris, him being his second, but him also driving the way he is. So I'm watching Leclerc too, because he's been, up there a lot. How that plays out too in these last couple of races. So that type of dynamic from the driver to driver once they're close to each other and how they respond.
Thank you for joining us at Back Porch Talk Podcast. You can also join us on Twitter by tweeting us at @back_podcast. For more information, you can go to our website, which is backporchtalkpodcast.com. You can also email us at backporchtalkpodcast@gmail.com. Again, thank you for joining us, and remember that there's enough hate in the world, so go ahead and spread a little love.